back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast, episode 80. I am one of your hosts this week, Wrestling Chris G, and on the other line with me is my best friend till the end, good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, my man, how you doing?
You big softy.
Oh, but it's the last time I called you my best friend to the end. but yeah, we're on the triple friend episode saga. I guess you can kind of say this week it's a friend indeed. The next one is friends and foe alike, and then the last one is friends to the end. Oh, I should have did my best friend to the end for friends to the end. Gosh darn it.
Shoot.
Oh, don't worry. I got another one now. I got another one. If I remember it. So,
You remember it, yeah.
So how you doing, bro? How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm decent. A little frustrated because yesterday was so nice, and I couldn't really go out because we were still dealing with the last remnants of ice, and then today it was rainy and stuff. So I'm convinced I might not ever walk around the block ever again at this point.
Oh, you couldn't put on your rain boots, Doug, and your raincoat and go out in that nice big rain that we got all day today?
Fuck you.
We took my daughter to the doctor today, because come to find out she has an ear infection.
Oh, those are never fun.
I know. And she's been coughing the past like couple days, so she has a little bit of a drip going on as well in the back of her throat. But come to find out, it was all due to her ear infection, which I don't understand how the two intertwine, but I'm not a doctor. We were just told, okay, she has a little bit of a drip and she has an ear infection, which is causing all of this. So I was like, oh, so the ear is causing the cough? That doesn't make sense, but all right, you're the doctor.
Right. You went to school, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're good to go now, even though we should have just stuck with the damn medicine. We had some medicine that we just bought from Walmart that seems better for her than this damn medicine that we got prescribed for her, because the at least the medicine that we got from the store she'll take. She had like one lick of this medicine that the doctor prescribed, and it's supposed to be a fruity flavor, and she like put it in her mouth and then all of a sudden just went ugh, and was like, she's like, this is nasty, and completely spit the the medicine all over the floor. It was the nastiest. But I'm sitting on the couch watching this. I was like, oh man, I'm so glad I'm not the one that gave her this medicine, because my wife is over here like, she's like, really, and she's like, that's nasty. And I'm over here freaking bribing her with ice cream to take the damn medicine. I was like, I'll give you some ice cream if you take this damn medicine that the doctor prescribed you. She's like, okay, daddy. I was like, yeah, I bet you will take it now.
Hey, whatever you got to do, man. You can't be picky at that point.
For real. But that was me. Really. Anything new on your end? I mean, I know you had a decent weekend with your mother's birthday, so belated birthday to her here on the podcast. Even though this will be coming out a little later, but happy belated birthday to her.
Yeah, she'll never hear this.
No, never. Unbeknownst to us, someone she works with listens to us and is like, "Oh, they were talking about you." but um, but yeah, Doug. you had a decent weekend this weekend. Everything turned out okay for you?
Oh, absolutely. It was a surprise party. She didn't have a clue.
What was her reaction?
There- well, because you know with a surprise party, the person that's with the person that's getting surprised usually has to stall because somebody's not there or something's late arriving. So you know the ruse is that they were coming back to my aunt and uncle's house because we were gonna have just a dinner with them, just a quick thing because they had plans on the Saturday and weren't gonna be able to make another party.
Okay.
And so I'm sitting there and they walk in and everybody else is off hiding in the corner of the kitchen and I'm sitting there with my cousins going, that's kind of selfish. We're sitting here hungry and you're out there drinking and ordering flatbreads, and then they turn the corner, surprise, and she almost fell over, and then she goes, "That's why you were stalled," and it was she had no clue,
That's
not
awesome.
a not a clue in the world.
Well, that's awesome, bro. I'm happy everything worked out and the family got together and it was a nice little get together. Did you get nice and tipsy this weekend?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not as bad as the last time, but yeah, I was. Yeah, you don't taste the fireball after you had enough shots.
Oh, geez. How many fireballs did you have? You know we're not young anymore, Doug.
Oh, I know. Oh, I'm aware. No, I too many.
Too many. Jesus.
between the
Oh.
between the three of us, we almost killed a bottle.
Oh, ouch. My throat is like I have a little bit of heartburn coming up with some acid in my throat and just I could just feel the burn right now. Just oh my goodness. But Pokemon Arceus update on myself. I'm finally at the last land in the game. Kind of taking my time completing this Pokédex again, but I'm almost there. I'm basically done with the game. I mean, I could have been done with the
I
game.
was gonna ask, are you trying to complete everything together, or are you more focused on the story with the idea that you can go back to the side stuff after the fact?
You see, okay, so it's kind of a mixture of both. So, like I said, if I were to complete this game, I probably could have completed this game in just a couple of hours. to be
Sure.
to be honest. But there's so many side quests, and the point of this game is completing the Pokedex.
Hmm.
So what I'm trying to do in the game right now is just um, complete a lot of the Pokédex, so I don't feel like I need to rush through because there's so many Pokemon, there's so many different areas, and I finally got a certain Pokemon that's able to climb freaking mountains now, so it's easier for my ass to get around. And I'm like, why didn't I just play the game until I got this creature? And I could easily have been doing some more of this stuff, but that's neither here nor there now. I had no idea that I'd be able to scale mountains. But yeah, I'm trying to complete it so I'm not ambushed at the very end of the game. Plus I think
Right.
and plus I think you need a certain amount of stars in order to go to these other parts of the map, which I don't know how many stars I would need to go to each part, but I clearly had way more than enough to continue to go because I believe as I'm sitting here right now, I'm borderline about to get my ninth star out of 10 in this, and um, I'm pretty sure getting this 10th star is going to be pretty freaking tough for me to get because I have a lot of Pokemon, but now I'm down to the Pokemon that I got in the Pokédex where it's a little more tedious of the certain task that I need to do. Like I need to see this Pokemon do a strong style move and see him do like flamethrower like 20 times in order to complete this task and just I'm no, I am noticing I'm getting down to like the nitty gritty and I'm almost done with all the very easy tasks that I can do in this game. So, but I'm still having fun. I'm still having a lot
Yeah,
of fun. So,
and that's the important thing. You know, you don't want to just be playing the game out of obligation.
yeah. Well, I mean, also, I mean, it's making it a lot easier too, and I'm expecting them to announce something this week because I think I sent it in our friend group chat, but as of this recording, it is Pokemon Week. Normally we get like a Pokemon Day, but this is Pokemon Week of 2022, where every single day this week they're announcing something new. So I mean, there's been very little as to what's come out so far. I think um yes, I think Pokemon Masters EX they had an update to that yesterday, but I don't play that game. Today they had a Pokemon Sword and Shield update where you get like Gigantamax versions of Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise for this week for a limited amount of time. So you would have to go in and find them and capture them during this time frame that they're giving you. And then we're gonna have more news come out tomorrow, and then the big news I'm expecting is going to be this upcoming Sunday because they blocked off like a whole day on the calendar to say that they're doing something. I don't know what they're going to do, but we should I should be able to tell you next week what all happened and transpired this week in regards to Pokemon Week 2022.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm excited. A lot of people are kind of disappointed with the Sword and Shield update, but I mean I'm hoping that we get a Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl update at some point this. Well, actually, no, that we did get a Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond today as well, but I don't know what that consisted of today. I'd have to do a little bit of digging. I have yet plugged that back in since I beat it.
Right.
And I don't think I'm going to plug in Sword and Shield to get these starter Pokemon either.
Oh, why
So
not?
I don't know. I mean, because Pokemon Arceus and this is a lot of every what I've been seeing go around all sorts of like YouTube videos and stuff. People that have Arceus, they're more focused on just completing that game, and you can do so much more in that game than just getting a few little extra things that they might be dropping here and there in the previous game. It seems a lot of people are kind of upset because it seems like they're taking steps back instead of steps forward, and people are hoping that we're going to get Generation 9 Pokemon um, announcement this week, but we don't have a Pokemon Live Nintendo thing on this calendar, so I doubt that we're going to be getting a Generation 9 announcement this upcoming week. So we might have to
Okay.
wait. We might have to wait until the end of the year to find out what the next big game is going to be.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, like I said, I get excited about this every year, but right now I feel like this is kind of lackluster, and
Right.
that's just because I'm a hardcore Pokemon game fan still to this day, and they need to do something to keep me interested. But we'll s- we'll
Need to do.
I'm
They need to
hope
do something to keep me interested because I.
Well, yeah, I mean, and people, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because I mean it's neither here nor there. But you guys know, I mean, you know that Pokemon Arceus takes place in the past, so There's a person that went off grid in this game. They found a way to get like off grid, and they found a room which looks like your character's room at the start of any Pokemon game, like how you always start off in your bedroom and then you go downstairs and you talk to your mother. Um, they found that in this game, and it has like a brand new like Pikachu Nintendo Switch in the room and a whole bunch of updated items. And people are speculating that at some point, what this person found by accident could be part of an update that's going to come out that's going to consist of being able to go back and forth in the game from the past to the future, or that that you are originally going to start off in your bedroom and then get sucked into the game where you go to the past instead of how you start off in the game. They literally throw you in. Like the opening scene of this game is you just falling. And people are also speculating that maybe he was looking at his Nintendo Switch or something, and then he got sucked in somewhere or got called, and then he went from his room to the past. But nobody knows what this room is that this person found, and I mean it's still out there. I haven't found this room. The person that found it doesn't tell you how to get to this room. They just have a video, like a 2 minute video of them walking around the room and interacting with stuff that's in there.
Probably can't be, like broadcasting too much or sending up too many signals just in case it's like an exploit or something.
Yeah, and that's what people are guessing. Like, there's a lot of speculation as to what this room means, whether it was something that was scrapped or it's something that's going to be in a future update. But I mean, nobody knows. But I'm really, really hoping that we're going to get an expansion pack like we did with Sword and Shield, where you got where once you completed the game you can venture off to different parts of, and they add like to your map, and you can go to like completely new areas for a whole new game in the same game that you bought. So I don't know. I'm very hopeful, but well, I think we're gonna have to wait until the middle of the year since this game just came out.
That's how they keep you on the hook.
Yeah, I know. So, all right. But off of that, I mean, I'm sure people are happy that we're talking about Pokemon and not Star Wars. And they're like, come on, get back to the Pokemon. So this week's episode is called "A Friend Indeed," or translated from Japanese. It's called "Rival Appears."
Okay. That's not bad, but that doesn't really tell you anything.
It doesn't. so so that's what this episode is. This is episode 80 in the series. And this episode came out January 7th, 1999 in Japan. And here in the States, it came out November 20th, 1999. And my date happened in 1982, Doug. So am I going first or am I going second this week?
This is for the November 20th episode, correct?
Yes.
And I'm going first. Mine happened in 52.
Okay. So what's going on in 1952, Doug?
On this date in 1952, Chicago Cubs slugging outfielder Hank Sauer wins the National League Most Valuable Player Award.
Oh,
It
okay.
is it is at that point the one, two, three, four, fifth MVP in the franchise's history. Um, that season, he batted. Trying to be quick, I swear to God. Um,
You're good.
he 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 knocked 37 home runs. He drove in 121 runs. Um, he appeared in 151 games, which At the time, the Major League Baseball season was 154, I believe. So, to only miss 3 games in a whole season is pretty impressive.
That
Um,
that's very impressive.
let's and I was looking at his career as a whole before I honed in on this particular season, and he was pretty consistent um, throughout his career in terms of the power numbers and stuff. It's just interesting. He played until 1948. He started in 1948. I'm sorry. And he played until 1959. So 15-year career is pretty good. Like I say, he was an outfielder. So those are typically those are your power hitters. Your outfielders and your corner infield. So to get that level of production at that stage in the game is pretty impressive.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Doug. Very insightful. And if when it comes to sports, I know that's your heart and soul. So thank you. Thank you very much for informing all of us about that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Mine is going to be short and sweet and to the point as well, Doug. In 1982, on November 20th, Drew Barrymore, at the age of 7, hosted Saturday Night Live. And she is still, and I went to look it up, she is still the youngest person to ever host Saturday Night Live um, to this day. So, congratulations to her. And she was promoting ET.
I see. Okay. See,
Yes.
I don't see that as a Drew Barrymore movie. I
Neither do I. But yeah, that's what it says they were promoting on that show. So yeah, she was promoting the movie E.T. and that's why she was on there. But she, yeah, still to this day, can you believe they let well, I guess it's SNL probably wasn't as raunchy as it is now.
No, but you're still taking the stage at 11:30 local time.
Yeah. So
You're getting off at 1 o'clock.
that is true. But okay, like my son is young, so every now and then we'll let him stay up. But I mean, the fact that she wasn't scared to be in front of that audience, well, I guess if she's sitting there doing movies and stuff, you're not really going to be scared to be on TV for an hour. And depending on how many skits they actually had her do, she probably only did like the opening monologue and maybe one skit in the middle of the show, probably with something to do with ET.
Oh, I
So,
would imagine there was probably a couple.
yeah. So, but yeah, that's what she was on there promoting. So, yeah, still still to this day, and there's other things, but I'm going to keep those in my back pocket for later on because we will be doing this date again in the future,
Ooh, teaser, teaser.
Doug. So, all right, but other than that, are you ready to jump on into this week's episode, my brother?
I'm definitely ready. I kind of feel like um Anto episodes are very easy to review because I think we're more familiar with them, and obviously, you know, not that technology should factor into it, but the fact that we can um, just kind of look at the subtitles when we have to, as opposed to listening to it at a very low volume, which we have to do with black and white because they couldn't keep that on Pokemon.com to save their damn lives. Um,
I'm on Amazon Prime when I watch these now. I got that nice subtitles.
well, I'm not really. I don't really. I didn't really feel like spending money on this. I pinch those pennies, by God.
Oh, well, that's how you keep money. You don't spend
You
money.
don't spend it.
Oh, all right. So as it's so funny because Amazon Prime has this episode listed as Pokemon Adventures in the Orange Islands, episode 12, A Friend Indeed. Even though this is not the Orange Islands yet, but
No, but you were looking that up before we hit record. We're closer than I think we realized.
yeah, we literally have this episode and then two more Kanto episodes, and we are off to the Orange Islands. So we can't say that we're recording Kanto anymore. We're gonna be off to Ash riding a Lapras for most of those episodes, and boy, that's gonna that's gonna get real repetitive real quick.
Yeah.
When most of the episodes are Ash on the back of his Lapras that he saves. So you remember those, right?
No, I'm gonna. Well, I remember them. Um, I'm very interested to watch that episode because I don't remember the circumstances of the Lapras.
Oh, you
Um,
don't. Okay.
not off the top of my head. No.
Okay, so I will keep my mouth shut. I'll have you go into that with brand new eyes. I won't ruin that for you.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure like as soon as it starts, I'll be like, oh, it's kind of like the Pikahuna episode. I was like, I don't know if I remember, and then it's that. Okay.
Yeah, you'll it's sad, but it's good at the same time. So I'm not gonna say any more, but yeah, we'll get into that. We only have a few more weeks, so
Right.
we'll be right into that. But all right, so this week we're not going to sit here and go over the recap because the
No.
recap is is strictly our last Kanto review. So go back and listen to that episode. But yeah, it's Ash basically overcoming his odds and going off to the fifth round. But unbeknownst to us, we're actually not getting a battle this week. So for people that are waiting for the next battle, that's next week or the next Kanto episode.
Next Kanto episode, whatever that is. Yeah, I was kind of sitting there, and I mean, we'll talk about that when we get to it. But um, you and I did have a brief discussion about how to actually put these episodes out, and there was like about 5 minutes where we were thinking about just putting this out as one long, oh, probably 2 hour recording.
Yeah. Which
But you really
probably
kind of
wouldn't have hurt, but I mean, then we'd be going over like dates and stuff. I mean, I guess we could have done two dates at the beginning of the episode, but just for the factor of people searching our episodes, I think it would have been clunky trying to find uh,
oh,
a
absolutely.
a two-parter episode because right now as it stands you can literally type in on iTunes, or if you're listening to this on Google, you can just type in the episode that you want to listen to and then we pop right up. So no point in putting two episodes together in one and confusing Google or iTunes.
Right. Yeah, because Lord knows it's not that hard to do.
I know. So all right, this week everybody, we start off with Ash, Brock, and Misty. They're walking. It looks like Ash just finished his battle, so he's nice and complete for the day. And Brock, Misty, and Ash are walking the streets of the Indigo Plateau, and Ash is like, "Yeah, everybody, we can celebrate. And you know what? Dinner is on me because anybody that's in the Pokemon League gets to eat for free." And so he is just so happy, Doug.
He should be because he downed that I can't remember her name now. Um, Jeanette.
Jeanette.
and she had that cheering section. So I mean, he was clearly the underdog in that match.
Ash shouldn't have
Even
won
though
that match.
no. And I mean, Muck just sat on that Bellsprout, and but he, credit to him. A win's a win. They all count the same. Um, and he's basically saying, stick with me. You're with me. You'll eat for free. And then we run into, well, we don't run into because they're waiting for him. We see that Professor Oak and Mrs. Ketchum are waiting. Um,
I bet they were waiting.
you cut that out. You cut that out right now.
I mean,
Terrible.
Mrs. Ketchum has a nice smile on her face.
You stop it. She's happy for herself. Awful.
So they walk up to the cabin, and when they walk up to the cabin, Mrs. Ketchum is sitting there and she's like, "Oh, I am so proud of you. Congratulations." She's like, "You have to keep your strength up while you complete. So I'm making your favorite meal." And Ashley's like, "You are? But where are you going to cook around here?" And unbeknownst to Ash, she's like, "Leave that to me." And then we go straight to this building, and on the inside of this building, Mrs. Ketchum has volunteered herself to cook for the entire town and for her son. Because she even disrupted the cooks. The cooks are like, "Man, people normally don't come here to cook. That's our job, Doug."
She's like, well, maybe they should. Um, so yeah, she's making this meal, and Ash, Brock, and Misty are sitting in the doorway. And Misty says this is either going to be really good or terrible, and we do a smash cut to the this booth, and it's just full of food, and um, they're completely chowing down. So obviously, Mrs. Ketchum did a great job putting this meal together, and you said she was cooking for the whole town or the whole restaurant. I don't know if it wasn't just them. I'm thinking if it was, how pissed would other people have been going?
I want
The
my mom to cook for me while I'm here.
I'm saying, I didn't know that was an option. Bring your mom to the Pokemon League.
And Professor Oak is just looking all sorts of smitten. I wonder why he's smiling so hard. I mean,
You cut it out. Would you just stop it?
I mean, his grandson lost the Pokemon League, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, he needed a kick in the pants.
But Professor Oak does go on to say that he's like Ash. If you win the next battle here in the Pokemon League, you'll be at oops, excuse me, everybody. You'll be in the advanced finals where you'll be able to use 6 Pokemon instead of just the 3 that you're currently using. And also, it just let me know if you still need to switch any Pokemon, because if you need to switch any Pokemon, I will gladly send you one of your Pokemon from my lab. Which means that Professor Oak and his mom are not planning on staying there, because at this point right now, Professor Oak doesn't have an assistant. I mean, he gets an assistant later on, but
Right.
he currently right now does not have an assistant unless they trained Mr. Mime to transport Pokemon, which I would not trust that Mime to do anything
No, it can barely operate a vacuum cleaner.
for real. So I'm almost, I think Mr. Mime has it out for Ash. I'm just gonna say it.
Oh, probably. I think there's some oomph to that theory.
Because I think Mr. Mime gets jealous of Ash, even though Ash is Mrs. Ketchum's son. Even though Mr. Mime kind of makes it seem like he's the kid, he's the favorite in the house. So
Needy freaking mime.
I know, right? But Ash does end up informing Professor Oak, you know, I'm gonna wait and find out who I'm going to be facing in the Pokemon League next, and then I'll let you know. Because right now I don't know who I'm facing or what Pokemon I'm going to need. And then Brock chimes in and he's like, "Well, tomorrow they decide who is battling, so I guess we'll let you know tomorrow." So it's at this point that Doug, I'm gonna shoot it on over to you.
So, we're at the elevators, and um, they're getting in, and they say, as long as compete to the best of your abilities, you're already a winner. And Mrs. Ketchum agrees, but she says, we'll try to win. And Misty's taking credit for Ash's wins, which I think is ridiculous. Um, and they get in the elevator, and we see this kid running, and he says, hold the elevator, I'm also going down. And, Oak stops it, and he gets in. And, kid thanks him, and this kid looks down, and we see Pikachu, and Ash is like, that's my Pikachu. He belongs to me," which is strange considering that Ash normally considers his Pokemon his friends, but it is kind of a throwaway line. Um, and this guy goes to pet Pikachu on the cheek, and Ash is like, "You're gonna get shocked," and uh, Pikachu just like instantly melts, and um, Misty's like, "Oh, you must be rubbing Pikachu the right way," which that line just hit my ears funny. I didn't appreciate it. Um,
Can't be thinking that way, Doug.
hey, you're the one that's having Professor Oak stick it to Mrs. Ketchum, so let's not throw stones here. Um, and then the power goes out and the elevator stops.
Yes. And from here, everyone's like, well, shit. What are we gonna do? And Professor Oak of all people, he's like, well, I guess we're just gonna have to sit here until they can power it back on. And and they're like, Brock, can you check and see if the emergency button will work? And Brock goes over, he presses the button. He's like, hello, can anybody hear me? And it's up to this kid. This kid takes off the front panel of the elevator door, and he finds these two like a little electrodes that are inside, and he's like, Ash, can I borrow your Pikachu? Which unless I'm just now putting two and two together. um I mean, because it's a certain Pokemon that we end up finding out that this kid has later on. So maybe he just didn't have it
Mm.
on him right now. But he's like, Ash, can I borrow your Pikachu? And he's like, yeah, sure. For what? He's like, I want to use Pikachu's electricity to turn the elevator back on to get us up to the next floor so we can get out of here. So Ash hands him over Pikachu, and he tells Pikachu to use Thunder Shock to to these like little electrodes that are in the door, and it's enough power to power the elevator back on so that they can climb back up to the floor that they were going to, so they can get out of the elevator and out to safety. Doug?
And they don't tell anybody that the um, elevator's on the fritz.
No, not at all.
But yeah, so they get out, and um, they're saying their goodbyes, and Ash is like, I know your name, kid. And he's like, and then this is when we find out his name is Ritchie,
Yes,
and
Richie.
we find out that he's also in the Pokemon League, and
Well, we don't
Mrs. Ketchum.
we don't find out he's in the Pokemon League yet.
Oh no, I'm about 2 minutes ahead of myself. But so he says, I'll see you later, and Mrs. Ketchum instantly likes him, and um, Oak says, "Oh, he's very, very mature for a boy his age," and Misty just throws that little quick shot to his ribs, unlike a certain other boy we know, and
Always,
Ash just
always has to chop Ash down at the knees. Why doesn't his mom say anything?
she was too busy being smitten with Ritchie. Um, and even Brock's like, I was very impressed with the way he handled your Pikachu, and this is where the entire damn episode falls apart.
Yes, because we could have been on track, could have gotten rid of Team Rocket for this episode, but no. So the next scene we see this. It looks like an old school RV, and it's driving down the streets of the Indigo Plateau. And Jesse is on the microphone going, all trainers must bring their Pokeballs to the Pokemon Pavilion for official inspection immediately. And then they continue saying that going down the road. And Misty is like, she's like, I wonder why they want to inspect our Pokeballs. And they're like, and Ash is like, yeah, but we better go find out. So it's from here that we finally go into the van, and Jesse and James are sitting there on the microphone. They're like, yes, everybody, hurry up, get to the Pokemon Pavilion, make it snappy. And this is their way of stealing everyone's Pokeballs going forward. Now, where the hell is Officer Jenny, Doug, during this whole
Right.
thing?
And we've had, and this was a while back, but we had that episode with the Growlithe and the voice changer. So at the very least, Ash, Misty, and Brock should be familiar with how Jesse sounds.
Yes.
So like immediately should have sent off alarm bells. Oh, that's Team Rocket. They're trying to scam the trainers out of their Pokemon. And then, like you said, they go find Officer Jenny. This scam is shut down, and we probably don't even need next week's episode because we'll have enough time. We could just do the battle then.
For real. But we, for some odd reason, we didn't get enough filler episodes before the Pokemon League, but they had to put one in the middle of the Pokemon League.
Gotta pad out those numbers, man.
Oh man, they must have been getting paid like buku money from these advertisers for each episode. All right, so they're paying us X amount of dollars for every episode that we pan out. So what are we gonna do this week? Just have Team Rocket go out there and try to steal everybody's Pokeballs. But what about the fifth round? We'll do that
We
next
can,
week.
yeah, we can kick that down a week.
So, but all right, so we fast forward everybody to the Pokemon Pavilion area, and Ash is walking around and he sees all these trainers. So it looks like all these trainers are waiting outside of this van. So the assumption is that everybody has given their Pokeballs over to this over to this RV, and everybody's just waiting. So not one of these 100 trainers sat here to think, okay, why do we have to do this? Or ask any questions to anybody else in town before walking over here as to why they have to give out their Pokeballs. But Ash ends up.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say Ash has a throwaway line of, "Well, this does seem kind of weird," and Richie's like, "Well, nobody said anything about a Pokemon exam to me, but here they stand."
Yeah, and Ritchie gave his Pokeballs already. So
Yeah,
I guess he is Ash's age, so he could be gullible just like Ash. But yeah, they see Richie, and this is when we find out that Richie is a part of the Pokemon League. And he's like, I'm glad to see you. He's like, I guess you're in the league too. He's like, yeah. And Jesse and James are sitting there with their bag. Okay, so they haven't collected the Pokeballs yet. They're like, we must now collect all of the Pokemon to perform a required physical examination. So please deposit all your Pokeballs into this bag for official looking. For the official search. And Ash is like, something seems kind of weird here. And just like you said, Doug, they're like, yeah, nobody told me about an examination. And and Jesse's like, any trainers who fail to turn in all of their Pokemon will be disqualified in the Pokemon League. So they're like, oh shit. Well, all I guess we will turn in all of our Pokeballs, and this is when we get the scene of everybody just with their Pokeballs minimized, just tossing them into this bag.
Chucking them in and just just going through person by person, just move along. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ash and Ritchie chuck theirs in, and
Well,
Jesse bends down.
well, what about James going and you two twerp? And he was about to call him a twerp.
Well, I mean, another red flag, but whatever. Um, Jesse bends down to pick up Pikachu. Ash warns her. She says, "I know how to handle a Pikachu." Pikachu doesn't even blink and just shocks her.
I,
So I mean,
I think
obviously he's
Pikachu knew.
right. So honestly, what was stopping Pikachu from turning around and going, those are those idiots? And Pikachu gets chucked in the bag. And he's in the process of shocking. So but they're Team Rocket's happy with themselves, and you know James lets slip. Oh, we finally got Pikachu, Jesse and Ash, and that's what finally tips off Ash. He goes, "Did you just say Jesse?" And Ritchie says, "Those are the troublemakers from Team Rocket."
Ritchie must have had some ongoing things with Team Rocket as well. So maybe it's not just Ash that they bother, Doug.
Either that or Team Rocket's just getting all the negative press, and it's finally hitting the papers.
For real. But all right, continue.
Jesse and James immediately realize they're caught, and they launch into their motto. They throw off their garb. Richie's like, "Oh, I knew it was Team Rocket. Give us back our Pokeballs." And James says, "Oh, we will. Don't worry. Just as soon as we remove your Pokemon from them," which Richie walked right into that. He should have said, "Give us back our Pokemon." So that's on him.
For real. So
And just before Team Rocket ducks into the van, James has Weezing throw out a smokescreen, and they drive off.
so after they drive off, Ash and Richie start running after this van. This van ends up going off road and speeding away. And Ash and Richie look down a hill, and this van has gone so far ahead of them that they're it looks like they're about a mile away, but they can still see the damn van. And Richie's like, we can't catch him on foot. And of course, Ash being Ash is like, the hell we can't. So it's at this point that he's about to jump off of this hill, and he does. And Richie's like, hey, wait, come on, Ash. So they're going down this hill, and Ash gets he steps one too many, so he's about to do the whole cartoon flip down the hill because he can't keep up with the slant of the hill. And Richie's like, slow down, and Ash is like, I've got to cut him off before it's too late. And he's like, Ash, no. And Richie just freaking grabs him, and as he grabs, he like bear hugs him from the back and just rides Ash down this hill. I think Richie's doing more damage to Ash than Ash would have done to himself. But
Well, he was about to go off the cliff, so I mean, you're kind of,
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
exactly, yeah.
But yeah, he Richie stops Ash from going off the side of a cliff, and he's like, if you didn't stop, you would have run right off the edge of this cliff. And Ash's like, no way I would have. And he's like, look. And they look over the cliff, and Ash is like, oh damn. And then they climb down the hill, and somehow Jesse and James, they end up meeting up with Jesse and James, to the point where they can jump out in front of this car, almost get hit. And James freaks out and he's like, oh, shoot. And just drives off the road and drives down this other hill. So that just a lot of hills here.
Awful lot of hills around here.
And what's funny about this is James is trying to keep the van steady. He's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And everyone's bouncing around inside of this van. And it finally hits the bottom where there's this small little lake, where there, it seems like it's just like a little bit of drizzle of water, but the van is tall enough and the wheels are tall enough to ride on top of it. So it starts riding down the lake, and Jesse looks over at James and it's like, oh, oh my God, good driving, James. And they look over at James, and James has a big old bump on the top of his head, and he had gotten knocked out from hitting his head on the steering wheel. Doug?
Yeah, so he's unconscious, and they're driving this RV down the water. And and then we get the who's that Pokemon, and we find out that it's Diglett. Why is it Diglett? I don't know.
Because
Or
they're
name the
trying to.
dartboard.
I was about to say, Diglett's not even in next week's episode.
He damn sure wasn't in this one. I mean, you could make an argument. Well, there was probably a Diglett that was thrown into that bag. Shut up.
but continue.
So we come back and it's nighttime, and you know they're just walking. They're determined to. Well, Ash is more determined to. I mean, they're both determined, but Ash is like he'll fucking go walk through glass to get Pikachu back, and Richie's like, look, it's dark. Who knows how far Team Rocket got. We're better off if we make a little bit of camp here and we can hit them fresh in the morning. And he's like, look, I even got a spare sleeping bag on my back here. So Ash is like, ah, fine. And they make a fire and they're sitting around, they're shooting the shit. Oh, do you think our Pokemon will be okay? Do you think we're going to see them again? And obviously they have to do the young male friendship thing of apologizing for getting in the little scrap earlier, even though if Ritchie hadn't have done his open field tackle on Ash, Ash would have gone head over heels over that cliff. So, I mean, he saved his life, but whatever. And then they go immediately to, do you think we're ever going to see our Pokemon again? Like, what? Have a little bit of, it's Team Rocket, for goodness sakes.
I know, for real. So but Richie is very determined. He's like, yeah, we'll get our Pokemon back. And Ash and him agree. They're like, yeah, just like you said, Doug, it's Team Rocket. And Ash then has this one liner, which I think is just bullshit, Ash. He's like, this doesn't taste like my mom's cooking. Which your mom doesn't cook for you all the time. Brock does. So shut up. But we go off to where Team Rocket is, and Team Rocket is somehow having a really nice feast. So in the process of stealing these Pokeballs, they must have stolen some decent food from around the area, because it looks like James has some orange soda. It looks like he has some ribs in front of him. Jessie looks like she has some meatloaf with some meatballs and some bananas and strawberries in front of her. and Meowth has what looks like a baked a baked chicken with a big old bone in the middle that he's eating, and they're just feasting. And Jesse's like, "Yes, Team Rocket has finally come up. We got all the Pokemon. We got Pikachu. We're just good." And then they start dancing and singing. And it's at this point we go back to Ash and Ritchie, who are sleeping in their sleeping bags, and they're looking up at the stars. And Richie's like, let's see what Pokemon we can connect with the stars. And he sees an Onyx, and or no, Ash sees an Onyx, and he's like, now if you connect those stars right there, you get. Ash is like, wow, a Pikachu. And he's like, I guess you think about Pokemon just as much as I do. And Doug, I'm going to switch this on over to you now.
So yeah, and then Ash is like, well, I'm gonna be the greatest Pokemon trainer in the world, and Richie's like, well, that's not gonna happen because I'm gonna be the. Ash says I'm gonna be the greatest trainer on the planet. Richie says that's not gonna happen because I'm gonna be the greatest trainer in the galaxy, and and we're just laughing. We're two guys having a good old time. And we, pardon me, we pan up, and then when we, God, they stay on this shot a while,
I
and
know. And then it's morning.
then it's morning. God, they were on that shot for too long.
Got to fill that time, man.
Well, it's not like we could have thrown a battle in or something.
I know.
Um, and then they're on the hunt for Team Rocket, and they find the tracks that the RV took. Um, I guess going back up the hill, and they stumble upon uh,
Team
Team
Rocket.
Rocket's sleeping at the campsite, so they have to do the Scooby Doo tiptoe past them, and the fucking RV is just it's a simple latch, so that's another strike on old Team Rocket,
For real.
and
And how did Pikachu
you
not claw its way out of this damn bag that they're about to find it in?
exactly. I mean, yeah, because the episode had to be 20 minutes. That's how. Um,
Pikachu was in the bag with all of the Pokeballs. All Pikachu had to do was sit there and go, I'm going to open this Pokeball, this Pokeball, this Pokeball. That bag would have exploded.
yeah. Again, the episode has to be 20 minutes.
I'm sorry. I'm giving Team Rocket too much credit here. But yeah, you can continue.
So, Pikachu jumps out of the bag, and um, Team Rocket is in the doorway, and they say, "Oh, look who just creeped into our campsite!" And Richie says, or Ash says, "We're taking the Pokeballs," and Gal says, "The only thing you're taking is a ride," and they lock Ash and Richie in to the RV as Team Rocket starts taking off, and Jesse says, "All we got to do is get rid of these twin twerps, and we'll have all the other Pokemon and Pikachu to ourselves." And Richie and Ash and Pikachu are sitting there with a bag full of Pokeballs, going, "There has to be some way to stop this van." And Ash starts digging through the bag of Pokeballs trying to find his, and Richie's like, "Well, I put stars on my Pokeball, so I know." It's like, okay, rub it in a little bit, why don't you? Um, which I mean, that's
that
a
that
solid strategy.
I was about to say I'd probably do something similar so my Pokeballs don't match the anybody else's. And even in today's Pokemon games, you can differentiate your Pokeballs. So if you have regular Pokeballs, you can put stickers on your Pokeballs, and There's also some stickers that will give effects to your Pokemon. When your Pokemon comes out, they'll have stars all around them and different things like that. It's pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty slick.
Yeah, it is. And when you put them in competitions, it gives you style points. So, but
It's
yeah,
not too bad.
but so Richie's looking down at his Pokeballs, and Ash is like, "Well, mine must be in here." At some point, he's like, "I choose you, Bulbasaur." And Drowsy comes out. He's like,
Drowsy.
he's like, "Oh no, my bad. Return." And he's like, "Maybe it's these." And he has a slow bro pop out. He has a stupid Magikarp. Who brought a Magikarp to the fucking Pokemon League?
Maybe he was trying to sneak it in and get some experience points and evolve into a Gyarados.
Probably. And Ash is like, man, these are not even close. And Pikachu is the one that finds some of Ash's Pokeballs because Pikachu sniffs them and she's like, these smell like your Pokemon, Ash, which kind of gives out how does Ash's Pokemon smell?
Yeah.
So
So
I
yeah. Let's not try to dig into that too much further.
So, but it's at this point that he sends out Bulbasaur and he tells Bulbasaur, tackle that wall. And
This pissed me off. This pissed me off. This pissed
Bulbas-
me so bad.
Bulbasaur tries to tackle the damn wall and just clunk, just hits his
Like
head up against the damn door.
I know Ash isn't bright. God damn it, that's dumb.
And then he tells Bulbasaur, Razor Leaf. Which, okay, I can understand the whole Razor Leaf thing because he Bulbasaur's razor leaf can cut through almost anything, but apparently it can't cut through this the back of this truck because whatever this truck is made out of, it's Bulbasaur proof. So Richie's like, you know what?
They had to pay extra for that protective coating, and boy has it come in handy.
I know, but Richie's like, you know what? I got this, Ash, and he's like, Zippo, come out. And Ash is like, Zippo. And out of this Pokeball comes Charmander. So he's nicknamed all of his Pokemon. And
Yes.
he's like, Charmander, use your slash attack. And Charmander comes up and he's like slash 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 slash. And this did piss me off because this slash attack was so much stronger than Ash's Bulbasaur's Razor Leaf, but I mean, at this point, I mean, it seems like at least Richie knows how to train his Pokemon and uses his Pokemon the right way to where when it goes in to be a Charizard, it doesn't sit there and not listen to
Yeah, well, yeah.
him. He doesn't use Charmander as a flashlight. Charmander, walk
Well,
around, walk in front of me. I can't see.
yeah, he doesn't send his Charmander head first into fucking walls.
And the wall barrier falls down, and Team Rocket looks back, and they're like, "Shit! Oh no! Hey, this van is a rental." And Ash's like, "Too bad, the ride's over, but only for you." Jesse goes, and James like, "Go get him." Or no, Meow's like, "Go get him, James." He's like, "But I'm still driving." And Jesse's like, "Arbok, go." Doug, you want to go from here?
So Arbok comes out and um, um Ricky throws out a Pokemon. Well, he comes at Pikachu, and Pikachu kind of gets knocked back, and Ash's Pikachu gets up, and because James is doing like some twists and turns with the with driving the RV itself to kind of throw Pikachu off its game, and
And he did a good
um,
job.
but then Richie calls out a Pokemon called Sparky, and that's his Pikachu, which, as you pointed out earlier, calls into question why he couldn't just use his own Pikachu to power the elevator. But like you said, maybe he didn't have access to it, which
he he
we
he
find out that he did because it was in his hand in the bag. But whatever. Um,
for real.
and both Pikachu's use their agility attack to literally run circles around this Arbok and confuse him, and then they both use their combined Thunderbolt, and obviously Arbok gets fried, Meowth and Jesse get fried, James gets fried, and the RV which is fucking so dangerous.
Yeah, how
I mean, it's
how are they still alive from well, it's a kids show. Even though
a kid show.
James got freaking fried and blew off the whole front of the damn car.
So Ash is all prepared to fucking spike the football, and Richie's like, "Do you realize we're still in a vehicle that's missing a front half, and we're about to go off another damn cliff?" So Ash calls out his Pidgeotto, and Richie calls out his Butterfree, who is called Happy. And,
and they tell him
they,
to use whirlwind at the ground because both Butterfree and Pidgeotto can't can't hold this bag of Pokeballs and their trainers and the Pokemon that's holding onto their legs. So whirlwind has to slow them down so they don't crash to a fiery death.
so and everybody lands safely somehow, and everybody's happy. And Ash is like, "You're the one that thought of the Pokemon parachute," which Ash damn sure wasn't gonna think of it.
For real. We go to the scene where we're about to find out who everybody is about to face. So they have a unique way of picking the trainers and who they're going to be battling against. And it's at this point where they are handed a fishing rod and they said, okay, fish into this little tank. Out jumps a Magikarp, which clamps onto it, and it has A23 on it. And the lady goes, "All right, Ash. Well, the trainer that you are going to face is Ritchie." And Ash and Ritchie look at each other, and Brock and Misty are stunned. Ritchie is stunned. Ash is stunned. And the narrator then goes, and so Ash's next opponent is his newest friend. How will our heroes find the courage to put their skills and their friendship to the ultimate test? Whatever you do, don't miss round 5. And then that's it. That we're off to the races. So the next episode is going to be oh, we do have a final scene with Team Rocket hanging in a tree after they blasted off, and they're like, "How can we feel so low when we're so high up?" And they're just stuck on a tree, and then the screen pans up, and we get the to be continued. But that's it, Doug. We're done with this week, and the next episode is the Pokemon battle between Richie and Ash.
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. Because boy, if I could only promise everybody that next week is only the Pokemon battle. No, we have to have more shenanigans next week.
Yeah, because we sat back and we realized, oh, we were kind of light on Team Rocket the last couple. Well, we'll fix that.
So they're going to cram them in on these episodes. But
Jiminy crickets.
so yeah, everybody, that was this week's episode. So um what do you give this episode out of 5 stars, Doug?
Oh boy, I
Because I mean, we do have a little bit of progression. You do have to have to account for that.
A two.
Oh, you gave him a nice two. Okay.
I
I'm
mean,
I'll give it a solid three this week. I mean because we do have we did meet a character that's going to play a major role in the next couple episodes of the Kanto before we get to the Orange Islands. So I'll give it a solid three. We got to see his Pokemon. On the next episode, we'll get to see how he's trained his Pokemon compared to Ash, and they're both the same age. So, and it's funny because Ritchie basically has the Pokemon that Ash has. He has a Butterfree, he has a Charmander, he has a Pikachu, for what we know
mhm.
in this episode. And all of those Pokemon are Pokemon that Ash has had, but I guess we'll find out the difference in training strategies that the two trainers have. Because
Well, that
don't
would require Ash to have a strategy.
I know? So, but all right, I do have the Pokemon packs this week. Now it's funny. We're recording this on the 22nd. It's funny because on the 23rd, I will have some Brilliant Stars, which is the new variation of Pokemon packs. The first of it is coming over tomorrow, so I will have that on the next recording session with you, Doug. But today, I have in one hand a Sword and Shield Fusion Strike Pack, and in the other hand, I have an Evolving Skies booster pack. Which one should I open, Doug?
Uh, I would say the skies.
The skies? All right. Let's go ahead and open this pack on up. Let's see. All right. Damn, it's a black card, but we'll see what I end up getting because sometimes I end up getting a card with some nice artwork. Doug, what is the energy that I am about to look at?
Electric.
Electric? Not this week. I have a
Uh,
water. So I have a trainer, rapid strike scroll of the flying dragon card, a Fletchender, a lantern, a cutie fly, a Hitmonchan, a Lotad, a Sableye, a Teddy Ursa. My reverse hollow is a Cryogonal, and my rare is a non hollow Scoutland, which is the evolved form of a Herdier. So, all right. Yeah, kind of a dud pack. Um, I think the best looking card would be my Cryonical, but eh.
so enthused.
And I'll be nice, everybody. This is the first time and probably the only time that I'm going to do this. But if you are listening to this podcast, the new Pokemon trading card game is out for mobile devices and for PC. And I am about to read off to you a a redeem card that came with this. So here it is, and first one is it can only be used once, so first come first serve. So it's H as in Henry, the number 6, W as in Wendy, J as in Joe, N as in Nancy, V as in Victor, D as in David, G as in Goat, V as in Victor, the number 6, the Z as in Zebra, 7 and 9, everybody. So again, that's H6W, JNVD, GV6, Z79. So I said it twice, everybody. First come, first serve. And whoever gets that can get a free Evolving Skies pack for their game. So do you have anything else that I am that you would like to add, Doug? I'm thrown off here.
No, I don't think so. I might be putting my foot in my mouth here. Just don't believe everything that you read on the internet.
Why is that, Doug?
Do you really want me to go into it?
Should we go into it off air?
It's up to you. I don't know. I don't want to put the whammy on anybody.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about it off air. But yes, everybody, word of advice from Dougie Fresh this week: don't believe everything you hear on the internet. But if that's all, Doug, go ahead and say your goodbye, Doug.
Bye, Doug.
And this is Wrestling Chris G telling all of you that next week will indeed be a black and white episode. So the next Pokemon League battle will be in 2 weeks, everybody. So you heard it here. So if you're looking for this next episode, go ahead and go on our Patreon because it will be airing next Friday if you want to listen to it on Patreon. Other than that, I will see you in 2 weeks for the next Canto, everybody. Have a good night.